Welcome to the show that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zack Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each week, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for spirited discussion on whatever the moral or theme of that story was. Boy, sit down. We got a doozy for you this
Nuzzle
week.
in to your couch.
Unquestionably our longest story this week.
And none of us wrote it, correct?
No, this fan submitted. Listener submitted. I don't know if they're fans. They listen, though.
Zack is the only one that has read the whole thing at this point, and he said it's got a cool twist at the end, so I'm really looking forward to that. But I do want to say, strap in. It's going to be a minute.
Right.
A long minute.
Are you prepared for this one? Do you need, would you like to light up a fireplace or anything like that? You want us to get a smoking jacket? Anything?
You know what? I bought a gallon of water to get through this bad boy.
We're joking. We really appreciate the effort. Like, that's very cool that you took the time.
It's got a good twist. Tomas Becks, I believe.
Yep.
That'd be it.
And we're going to talk about it, the story, when we get to the end of it. All right. You know what? What else is going on with everybody? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Maybe we should save that for a less lengthy episode.
Yeah, nobody's going to care what we are up to this week.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just get into Stephen King's.
Yeah, I don't want to give the title away yet.
Entire collection series.
Tomas is a big fan of the show, and we really appreciate him. He took the time to write a cool story from the way Zack. Now, that's the rule of the show. It's whoever writes the story doesn't read it. And in this case, Zack's portraying the author. He's reading the author's work this week. So he's the only one that's read it.
I'm sure it'll be good.
No, it's good. Thank you so much, Tomas. And we're looking forward to hearing what this is and then dissecting the hell out of it. So without any further ado, if you're ready.
Oh, yeah. Gather around the campfire. It's time for a story. Ready, Herb? The blonde woman asked the rugged man in the leather jacket. Born ready, Angel, he replied with a grin. Angela sighed and gave him the look. Let's go, she said. Yeah, let's do this before I get eaten alive by these winged pests, Herb said, annoyed at the bugs. He grabbed the rifles and ammo from the deck of the boat. The sun had just come up and the jungle was alive with sounds. Herb and Angela slowly paddled upstream towards a place where the source of the entrance to the temple ruins was. Herb swiped the sweat off his brow, his goofy grin replaced by a stern look as he searched for the stream that split off the main river. Is that it? Asked Angela after 15 minutes of slowly going forward. She pointed her paddle at a different-looking brush on the right. Herb lifted his sunglasses to get a better look, squinting his eyes. Suddenly his eyes widened and he yelled, "Yes!" As they neared it, they could already see some of the rubble of the ruins. Oh, crap, yelled Angela. Herb grabbed his rifle and swiftly took aim at the first sight of trouble. A single shot echoed through the jungle, followed by the loud splashing and a deathly roar. The crocodile didn't have a chance. That was a large one, Herb. Stay alert for more local fauna. These crocs are death on 4 legs. Herb gave her his best goofy grin again. I'm death on 2 legs, Angel. Nothing is going to stand in my way today. Angela smiled back, but there was a hint of alarm in her beautiful green eyes. She didn't know Herb that long, only a few months, but she had never seen determination like this in his steely blue eyes before. Her heart skipped a beat, and it sent a shiver down her spine. She knew what was at stake here. She gave Herb a wink. Herb winked back. He also knew what was at stake here. Nothing would come between him and his mission. It was way too important that he succeeded. The success of the war could very well depend on it. He reached into his shirt pocket and pulled out a cigarello from the thick leather case. Smoking helped him focus, so he lit it up. They didn't see any more crocs, or any other animals for that matter. Quiet had returned to the clearing. Immediately after reaching the shore, Herb jumped off to secure the area, while Angela tied the dinghy to the branches. Herb looked back at her, a grim look on his face. You okay? Angela nodded. Herb lowered his rifle and Angela handed him his backpack. She had a small bag herself, mainly for ammo and some food. If all went well, they wouldn't be out in the jungle for long, an afternoon at the most. Herb held out his hand to help her, but she refused it. I can handle myself, tough guy, she said with a smile. I know, but you don't get to complain that chivalry's dead now, he replied. Let's go. Be careful where you step. This tribe had a habit of using very sneaky traps to guard their places of worship, Herb warned Angela. Not that she needed reminding. She had studied this tribe intensely. Every detail could help her mission. She's prepared for everything, and so was Herb. I'll take the lead. You keep your eyes open at all times. This is not going to be easy, Herb said. Angela noticed his accent was stronger when he was extremely focused. That's not what he said last night. She blew him a kiss. Herb accepted it with a smirk and a wink. He spit out a cigarello, hung his rifle on his shoulder, touched his pistol for good luck, and entered the tunnel, torch in his right hand, machete in his left. Behind him, Angela followed assuredly, her rifle also on her shoulder and torch in hand. They had been going inwards and downwards for a good 20 minutes now, and nothing had happened so far. That made them both very nervous. They knew of the reputation of the tribe. Any moment now, they would certainly come across some sort of death trap. Stop! Stand still! Angela spoke softly but firmly. Look down. Herb looked to the ground and saw he was just inches short of stepping on a wire. So it begins, he grunted. He checked the walls, the ceiling, and the floor, and seemed satisfied with what he found. Step back. Angela took a few steps back, and Herb hacked off the vine from the wall and took a few steps back to Angela. He used the vine as a whip to hit the wire, and as soon as he had done that, a sharp blade sliced through the tunnel where they had been standing only moments ago. Herb and Angela waited a minute to be sure nothing else was going to happen, and satisfied there weren't any more traps, they continued down the tunnel, even more focused than before. They dodged plenty more dangers on their way in. The adrenaline rush was incredible, and Angela felt confident that the mission would succeed. If their information was correct, it should not be long now for them to reach the temple's inner chamber. But she also realized that the trouble they could find there would easily outweigh the traps they had already worked around. Do you see that? Herb said. The tunnel ends. Light over there. He stopped and stared at the opening. Don't get cocky now, he thought. His mind briefly wandered off. He wondered how the other guy was doing in Peru, but then he quickly snapped back to focus. It seems we have reached the inner chamber. Ladies first? This is your party, Herb. The honor's yours. But be careful, we're not in the clear yet. Herb picked up a rock and threw it towards the opening. As the rock soared through, darts shot down the tunnel. Angela and Herb were too far away to be hit. Herb turned around and blew a kiss at Angela. Well done, Romeo, she replied. Now get moving. We're very, very close. They had reached the inner chamber. It was a big room, very high, and daylight came through a large hole in the ceiling. Big chunks of that ceiling had come down to create the hole. The massive stones provided some cover and also created an improvised bridge over the ring-shaped chasm in the middle of the chamber. Herb dropped his torch and jumped on the big stones. As he did that, the arrows flew towards them, narrowly missing them both. Natives! Yelled Angela. She immediately dropped behind the ceiling stones and cocked her rifle. You get the prize, I'll hold them off. Angela turned and shot at the tribal warriors who had come through a different passageway into the inner chamber. Herb jumped up and balanced across the uneven stones, using the small window of opportunity Angela's gunfire gave him. Angela managed to drop 2 warriors, but there were many, many more. Arrows flew, and Herb slipped while dodging one. From the corner of her eye, Angela saw Herb drop down the chasm. She fired a few more shots before needing to reload. As she was reloading, she glanced frantically towards the chasm in the hope of seeing Herb on the other side. When she didn't see that, she felt a slight panic coming up. Herb, stop fooling around and get the prize. Herb was hanging in the chasm, grasping a crevice in the wall with both hands. He gathered all his willpower and hoisted himself onto the ridge near the altar. Angela gave out a sigh of relief and turned her attention towards the native again. With a few excellent shots, she managed to take 3 or 4 more down and keep him at bay. She couldn't see what Herb was doing on the other side of the altar, but she was hoping he would finish up soon. She was running out of ammunition. Suddenly she heard a thump and felt Herb landing next to her. We have to move, he shouted. I triggered something at the altar. Before Angela could reply, pieces of the wall of the inner chamber burst open and water came pouring in. Both Angela and Herb jumped over the stones and ran for the nearest exit. The one they had come through was blocked by water, so they had taken another route. Lady Luck smiled on them as they navigated most of the tunnel without setting off any more traps. But the water was gaining on them fast. Watch out, Angela shouted. Quick-witted as she was, she managed to jump over the pit that all of a sudden appeared ahead of them as they rounded the corner. Herb didn't react so well. He jumped, but he didn't make it. He lost his breath as he crashed on the other side, yet somehow managed to cling to an edge. The ceiling was falling. Take my hand, Angela lay on her stomach and tried to grab Herb, but she couldn't quite reach him. If you swing your rifle towards me, I can use that to lift you out, she called to Herb. With water crashing into the pit and the ceiling slowly but surely coming down, Herb knew he had no choice but to trust Angela. With one hand, he unhooked the belt of his rifle on one side and swung it towards Angela. She caught it on the first try. She may look frail and she's not very big, but she has a lot of strength when she needs it, and Angela needed it now. With all the power in her slender frame, she pulled Herb out of the pit. Thanks, Angel, he sighed. There's no time for that. Do you still have the prize? Angela asked. Herb patted his backpack. Safe and sound, he said. Well, then let's run. She didn't have to tell Herb twice. The tunnels rumbled around them, and it appeared that it was all going to come down on top of them. Daylight, Herb shouted, and they put in a final sprint. As they neared the exit, they dove for it. Behind them, the tunnel collapsed, and a big cloud of dust blew out after them. Coughing and wheezing, they stood up, wiping the dust off their clothes. but 6 natives were standing a few meters in front of them, spears and bows ready to attack. I'm out of bullets, Herb, Angela said, slightly panicked. He gave her a wink. I'm not. And he said and drew his gun. 6 shots were heard. 6 bodies fell to the ground. Angela gasped. Herb grinned. I'm death on 2 legs, he said as he reached for his cigarillos. An arrow was sticking out of the leather case. Well, look at that, Herb whispered. Took out a cigarette and lit it up. Smoking saves lives, Herb said, and he turned towards Angela to show her the arrow embedded in a cigarillo case. He turned and looked straight into the barrel of the pistol that Angela had pointed at his head. The cigarillo fell out of the corner of his mouth. What the hell? He stammered. I'm sorry, Herb Campbell, or should I say, Herbert von Adelsberger. Herb went pale. Angela grinned. Hitler's not going to get the prize this time. Herb squinted his eyes and looked at Angela, his hand inching towards the machete still hanging on his belt. You're out of bullets. He went for his machete, and a shot was fired. 1 body fell to the ground. Now I'm death on 2 legs. She grabbed the backpack and checked to see if the prize was still there. She smiled. Churchill will be happy. His number 1 spy will once again make him proud. As Angela hurried towards where she had left the dinghy, she wondered how the other guy was doing in Peru. She never understood why the American Secret Service had insisted on sending a college professor to do a spy's job. She'll have to discuss that with the Prime Minister once she gets back to England.
Damn.
Boom!
That was good. Nice
job,
very Tomas.
Cool story. Thanks, T.
Dun, 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 dun. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I heard that too.
There you go.
Nice twist.
Yeah, so who likes Indiana Jones, right?
Right. Right? Somebody's a fan, and I like it. I respect it. That was really good.
That was a cool twist.
With 2,000 plus words, I'm like, well, I look forward to somebody's book report, but that was really good. Nice job.
Yeah, obviously my expert narration is what really brought the story to life.
Really, because that twist wouldn't have worked without the 1 body hit the ground.
Yeah, you like family.
Yeah, I like the Vin Diesel reactions. I like it. Yeah,
I called my buddy Vin in to read that one.
That was really good, man. That was a cool story, actually. There was a couple times where I'm like, oh, and then there was dingy, and I hear dingy, and I just go, hee.
Like a child.
It's a funny word.
It is.
Come on.
Like a child. And then there was the part where they were going up and down, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
I bet they are going up and down.
Yeah, they are. This is a different kind of story.
Yeah, I cut out all the porn parts.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
thank
good.
you.
Wow. So is there a moral in there?
Yeah, so what do you... Tomas did not put the moral into the story. So what do you guys think the moral is? So
we have to decipher the moral. Don't trust ladies.
Hey, I was going to say don't trust women, so I'm with you.
Hey, as long as a woman concurs, we can say it. That's how it works, Zach.
Wow. Hey, I mean, I guess if you both agree, then I have no choice but then obviously say the moral is never trust a woman.
No, and in truth, I don't... never let your guard down.
Yeah. Guess
That's
that could
good.
be it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's probably better and less sexist than saying...
Wait a minute.
No, I was just saying a woman, agreed that you can't trust women. We're really clear.
You can't really trust men either. You just can't trust humanity.
Ridiculous.
So...
Yeah, I mean, it's not sexist if you apply it to everybody.
That's true. Just my statement and your statement pertained solely to women.
Why is it if a guy says it, it's sexist, but if a woman says it, it's okay?
I didn't say that. I was saying...
I'm just saying in general. Why is it always the case?
There is quite the...
I bet you didn't expect that to come out of that story, Tomas.
There you go. I'm sure that's what he was going for.
Well, there's definitely a double standard, though. You're absolutely right. I'm not going to disagree with you. There is. If a woman does something, and this is totally not what the topic is, but for example...
How do we know? He didn't tell us. It might be.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's all the topic.
For example, catcalling. When a guy does it...
That's catcalling?
Yeah, or like making comments. Now, granted, men are more pointed and have, for some reason, more confidence to actually say it to women rather than like just saying it under their breath or something.
Not anymore. Now we're afraid we'll get arrested or fired.
I mean, at this point, you probably should.
Yeah.
But women...
Excuse me, ma'am. You have a very nice purse.
Creep.
But I mean, if a woman does that, which women, I mean, let's be honest, women do. They
all the time, baby. Every time I walk in the store.
You
talk about your Twitter
here.
feed, Amanda?
It never happens.
What's that?
So you talk about your Twitter feed, Amanda?
Yeah, exactly. Especially when Batfleck is on screen. But women will pay attention to a man's physique and they will make comments with their friends. And if a woman says that she's never done that, she is lying to you. Now, I feel like there is definitely a difference between saying it to a friend like, wow, he's got a really great butt, versus, hey, shoddy, let me pick you up and take you home tonight. And when you don't accept no, then you just continue and persist. That's where the problem is. But that's still like not even just a guy thing. But I think it's because it's more prevalent with men that, I don't know, or there's just a double standard. I don't know.
I would go more with just a double standard, honestly.
I feel like it's a mixture of both.
Where do you land, Zach? You're pretty honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're a guy and a woman comments on you, your expectation is to accept it as a compliment and not be uncomfortable by it.
And I don't think women are necessarily sweeter about it always. I've heard women say some pretty lewd stuff in my life.
Yeah.
Oh no, there are some very lewd comments.
And I've never had a problem with it, so I'm on the record as saying that.
And so maybe that's what
you're feeding
causes
into the problem, Aaron.
Yeah.
I know. I'm offended. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Please stop it.
Wow.
So
I'm aroused.
aside from Zach being aroused and Aaron obviously not wanting it to stop.
All right, well, that went completely off book. So where else can we go?
So,
let's get back to Tomas's thing.
Yeah, I didn't really, obviously, like Tomas did not send along any questions here, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants. So how messed up is it to just kill a bunch of natives to steal their religious items?
That's a great point. Nobody ever looks at it that way, do they?
Just slaughtering them.
We never look at that when we watch movies and we read books and everything else. We always look at it, well, the natives are attacking him. We have to kill them. It's okay that he kills them. But really, he's stealing their sacred thing.
I'd just like to point out, like, America.
We don't talk about that because we weren't present, and we already know that's an awful situation.
Oh, but we were present in this Indiana Jones story?
We were wrong. We were wrong in that scenario. We
said sorry.
Yes.
Like, what do you want?
We were absolutely wrong in that scenario. So same concept. But when you watch it in movies and stuff, you don't hear people saying, well, that was wrong. Indy, you shouldn't be taking that thing anyway. So that's pretty messed up.
It belongs in a museum. Well, why doesn't it belong to its people, Indy?
It's good. That's a good point.
Research.
What was that?
Research. Understanding history.
By
If nobody shared
history?
Well, no, not by murder. I'm just saying by trying to obtain these objects. And not that it makes it okay, but I feel like that is what the purpose is. To, at least from Indiana Jones, is to understand and to bring history throughout multiple cultures. If you don't ever share the history from one culture to another, how do you expect them to work together or to gain an understanding of each other?
Well, they'll definitely understand that we steal from them.
Yeah, there you go. They'll really appreciate the white man after we rob and kill them.
Yeah. Ooh, that got dodgy. If people had their house robbed, they wouldn't feel, hey, they were doing it for education purposes.
No, I know.
Yeah,
They
there
stole
you
a
go.
book.
That's a good point.
You stole my little free library.
I just wanted to read.
You're right. That absolutely was a messed up scenario. And now I kind of feel like I don't know who the hero of that story is anymore.
I mean, yeah, weren't both these people simply fight? Wasn't everyone just fighting for what they believed in?
It feels like people were fighting for greed and the natives were just protecting what was already theirs. So they're basically, it's their house and we broke in. Or these guys broke in. So I don't know. I don't know who the hero is.
So the Nazis, the Americans, the English, they're all bad guys in the story.
Let's just say yes, because I don't know. Let's just assume everybody's bad because that way nobody can be mad at me for anything I say. So yes.
Smart.
Everybody's awful. That's the name of the story.
It's easier. Well, when you start talking about Nazis, man, it gets really dodgy. So I refer to them.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I've said before.
What's dodgy about Nazis?
Because if you say anything,
are they bad guys?
They are bad guys. They're evil bad guys. But for the longest time, I didn't know what a Nazi was until I was like 12.
What?
I just thought they were
hyperventilating.
I just thought they were Indiana Jones thing. I thought they were an invented villain until I got history class where they taught me about it. I'm like, oh, all right.
You're like Spielberg. You guys stole this from Spielberg.
You guys stole this.
Kind of. I felt like a whole world was open. I'm like, wow. So those are real people?
So I can really be Indiana Jones.
No, it was more like, well, he should have just killed them all. Why was he being so nice to them?
That's a good point.
Ticket.
That's a good point.
It's no ticket. He threw that guy off that blimp.
Yeah, well, that was the third movie. The first one, he was kind of a little too nice to him. He should have taken out a bunch of them.
Slaughtered Nazis. Yeah, I think Nazis are the universal bad guys of history, right? We don't have to feel sorry for them, right?
I feel sorry for present-day Germany because they had nothing to do with that. Now they got to live that down.
They said sorry.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Well, everybody says sorry after they take everybody's land.
I feel extremely horrible for all of the Jews that are still around because they're still, there's still so much.
You're making this so uncomfortable right now. Say your statement again. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I feel like you guys understood what I was going with. They're not persecuted to the same degree that they were, but they're still almost like exiled. They have been for many, many years, but I feel like even in America, they still are. It's like if somebody says that they're Jewish, there's like this turn. And it's not like Jews have ever done anything. I
have not seen that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I am not saying that it's not a thing at all. I'm just saying I have not witnessed it. I've witnessed other cultural racism, blacks, Hispanics, and Asians, but I have not witnessed the Jewish racism. Not in America. Not America. I haven't witnessed it in my lifetime. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I still see it present. Obviously, not to the same degree that it ever was, but I still see its presence.
Where are you hanging out? German beer shops or what?
Well, I've visited a lot of different religious facilities. I don't know what they're because they're not all churches.
Yeah.
Whew, thank goodness. Okay, that went too far. All right,
so I made it just stop talking.
I kind of missed what you guys said of the joke because I was still talking. So
it's okay. You'll listen when you listen. You'll understand when you listen back.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to do that.
Wow.
Just kidding.
I'll skip past
your 15-minute monologue.
You attacking my 15-minute monologue?
You're attacking Tomas's book.
Not his book, just Zack reading.
That's the book. That's his book. It's literally his book.
Hey man, I tried.
Just kidding, Zack. No, you
did a good job. You did a good job. All right, so what else we got? Well, wait, you didn't really address the native situation. Your own question. What's your answer?
Well, actually, I weaseled in 2 questions in that conversation. But there's not really a question here. You should not be going into people's lands and stealing their treasures.
It kind of kills my favorite movies, though, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of Raiders now in a whole different context.
I don't like it any. I don't. Well, you know what? I don't like this analogy, so we're just gonna pretend that we don't have it because I want Indiana Jones to be amazing. Exception
to Henry Jones Jr.
Okay, I can do.
Right? Yeah,
Junior. Yes.
Yeah, not senior.
Yeah, he's retired.
They like the same women though,
which is just so weird. Junior.
So Angela straight up murdered Herb in cold blood. You think she was justified?
Well, I don't know what Herb did.
He was a German spy.
Oh, yeah. We've already established that. Nazi's bad. So, yeah, he's cool. It's cool.
And she killed him before he killed her?
I think before he took that back to the Führer.
Mm-hmm.
The Führer. How do you... The Führer.
Right? I wish we had more information on the relic.
Yeah, it's very
important. Is this some kind of magical artifact?
Obviously. Probably something occultish. Because that was wasn't Hitler into that weird stuff? He's a freak.
What they say. Well, they say everything about Hitler.
Yeah. I don't know. He didn't talk to me, so...
Although you guys probably would have understood each other pretty well, huh?
When I get my time machine, I'm going to go ask him some questions, though. So if Indiana Jones did show up, would you have let him keep the Ark?
Who is Indiana Jones? Why does he sound like that?
Why does he sound like... What was that?
It was like Dracula. I was trying to do Dracula. I don't know.
Hello, Indy. Why don't you go to the chopper?
Stallone would have been a much better choice.
Get to the chopper!
Should have had Stallone playing Hitler in Indiana Jones 3.
Yes.
Hey, yo, Indy. What are we going to do here?
I'll sign that book there for you.
I'm going to need me that Ark of the Covenant. You know what I mean? Once you in there, put it in my truck. Hit it to my boys. Yo. This is our holiday special.
You're welcome.
Just completely off the rails.
Yeah, that's fine. What do you guys think the moral of the story is?
Dude, should we already do that?
I'm sorry. I was say they're off the rails.
What is the title of this one?
The title of this bad boy is.
There we go. What is the title of this story? I don't know. I don't know. What is it?
Death on Two Legs.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Thrown in there a couple times.
It's kind of obvious.
It was kind of witty, though. I liked it. She seemed to have a lot of sass. I could relate to her.
She had some spunk.
On a personal level, yeah.
She shot a dude in the face. I assume.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Well, gotta get your hands dirty. It's war. What are you gonna do?
Wow. I'll not shoot people in the face would be my first inclination.
I mean, maybe you don't have to shoot them when they're unarmed and stuff.
You know what? People always say that. Isn't that the best time to shoot somebody? It feels like you're guaranteed win.
You make a solid point. I'm just saying, this guy was celebrating. He was ready to keep the celebration going, if you know what I mean. She just capped him.
Oh, well, now I got a different visual.
She could have shot him in the leg. I'm just saying there are other options.
Maybe she did.
I mean, the body dropped.
Yeah, I guess you don't drop when you shoot somebody in the leg.
They might.
It was in his face.
They would go, ow, 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 ow. That's what you'd hear if they shot him in the leg. That would be written in the story.
That's
ow, ow, ow.
Like really like a porno gone bad. That's what that sounded like.
Like a fractured penis?
Yes.
Mm. Ow.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that was Aaron's kink.
I wonder if that's available on Pornhub.
There's got to be a category.
There's going to be a fun search history on my computer.
I was going to say somebody's going to have a really good time with their holiday off.
Yeah, remember.
If you guys want to write in with your own sex stories, feel free.
Please don't. I'm waiting for the first Smirk 50 Shades of Ow.
I have had one that has sent in a submission with a very sexual tone that we haven't done.
Can we read it that way?
Well, I mean, I think they want it read that way.
It would be like, hey.
It's very pretty obvious that it's a sexual story.
Because they say...
Oh my God.
I don't think we can say that.
No, I think that'll forever be a joke lost to the editing room, I'm sure.
Well, nobody specified what shaft.
You know,
yeah, talking about a baseball bat.
Exactly.
Weirdo.
She really likes baseball. She loves her balls.
You have to moisten the grip, so you can swing better.
Swing better.
So you can score all the way.
Usually we have more structure on this show. It feels like we're a bit all over the map this time.
You think it helps? People are going to love this one.
I think this might have the least amount of downloads. People are like signing off.
I want you to write into mystory at smirkpodcast.com and tell Aaron how much you want every show structured like this.
Just all over the map.
Yeah, best show.
That's funny.
Very conversational.
Hey, was this story truth or fiction?
You know what? I can't be certain because maybe it's a story from the 40s. I don't know. But I'm going to guess fiction.
I'm really hoping it's truth, but I'm going to guess fiction too. We don't know for sure. Amanda, what do you think? Truth?
I mean, how would he know?
His great-grandfather told him this story?
I'm sure it's not true.
Could be triction.
It could be.
Could be triction. Could be.
To be fair, he does have Nazis in here, and that is a part of history, so there is some sense of reality in there. So I'm going to say triction.
That's a stretch.
It's triction.
I follow what she's saying.
Yeah. I mean, so does the drunk homeless man, but it still doesn't make any sense. We got all that. So, all right. Well, as our show goes, you can be like Tomas here and send us in a story. We'll occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email it to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. That's mystory@smirkpodcast.com. That was really fun. Join the conversation by joining our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter @SmirkPodcast. And be sure to use the show's hashtag Smirk, especially if you share that with your friends, because that's how people find podcasts. And we're still a newer podcast. We do appreciate if you could share that on your social media outlets. You can subscribe to Smirk at your podcast app of choice, also on Spotify, or you can check out the website at smirkpodcast.com. Zach, wow. Are you glad you did this one? Are you glad that you made it through that entire ensemble?
Yeah, definitely. All the rehearsing definitely paid off.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of rehearsal involved. Basically, yep, I read it.
I feel like you keep coming at my narration, Aaron.
I really liked it. I'm just saying I don't think you rehearsed it. You're a wonderful ad-libber.
Wow. Jerk.
Did you practice in the mirror like several times?
He twirled around with his hairbrush.
Please tell me that's true.
I haven't brushed my hair in maybe ever.
Ew.
You've never brushed your hair?
Now this is a topic for an episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk about hygiene in the next episode.
I mean,
better believe.
The hair's still clean. You just don't need to brush it.
You don't?
Anyway, you know what? As you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk.
And keep your hygiene good.
Why don't you brush your hair?
Why do you?
So you're the drunk homeless man.
That's why he was following me, guys.
I don't know if it is.
Tune in later for our hair episode.
Oh, trust me, I can bring this one to the table.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Let's just keep doing this.
Let's not.
The last one I know wasn't intentional
No,
by
that
you, but it
wasn't.
was so funny.